we're going to talk about benefits of knowing how to do an accurate comparative market analysis, CMA, right? So number one, benefits of knowing how to do an accurate CMA is it gives confidence when going into a listing appointment and suggesting the listing price. When you know how to do a good CMA, it gives you confidence when you're talking to your sellers. And it gives you confidence to negotiate that suggested listing price. So confidence is a big thing in real estate. You know, they're selling the most important asset of their family's life. And you got to be able to say, hey, it's worth this. And we got to hit the market at this. So number two, benefits of why brokers need to know how to do a CMA. It saves time and stress by not wasting your time listing a home that's priced too high. For those of you that have listed homes and listed them too high, it can be very stressful 3 or 4 months later with regarding you and the seller. And sometimes when it cancels after you spend so much money on marketing the home, your time even worth more than money, you wish you would have done it right in the first place or not started. So with that time, you could have spent that time marketing, lead generating to get new clients, new leads, closing your present buyers and sellers that are real. So number three, you'll get the job done sooner for the seller and get a big fat commission check sooner. So why get paid 3 to 6 months later when you're listing a home when you get paid 4 to 6 weeks later after listing a home? Doesn't that sound a whole lot better than 6 months later? 6 weeks sounds a whole lot better. And put yourself in the seller's shoes. They need to sell the house. They have goals to hit. So if you can sell it fast for them, then they get to those goals sooner. 6 months later, that's gonna derail their goals, whatever their goals are to sell that house. Number four, when representing buyers, you will have confidence suggesting to buyers what offer price they should put in and lead them. So also when you're representing buyers, some buyers would say, hey, is that home priced correctly? Because I do love it. I do want to put in the offer, but how do we know if it's priced right? Then we say, here, you don't want to lie to them like, yeah, I know the market over and wherever, it's priced definitely right. You want to have conviction when you're saying, hey, that's a good price for it, or no, it's priced low. That's a really good deal. If we get it at full price, you're getting a steal. Or yeah, it is priced a little high. I think it's about $30,000 overpriced. I think if we went maybe $20,000, $30,000 less, that's the fair price for it. But you'll have that with conviction. And then 5, we're talking about investment now. You're able to support real estate investors and yourselves as knowing how much the property is really worth and if it's a good deal or not. So some of you guys that are dealing with investors, it's not about guessing. It's about, you as my realtor tell me how much it's worth so I can make an informed decision on risking my $200,000 to $100,000, $300,000 of my family's life savings, right? And you better have conviction of it. You know how much that property is worth. So, and for us that are investors, maybe one day you guys want to buy a rental. Is it a good deal or not? So that benefits you guys to know how to do a good CMA. And number 6, one of the skills all highly successful brokers know and master. If you want to be one of the best brokers out there, master this skill. So this is kind of like the best tool on your tool belt as a successful broker. You got to know how to do a good CMA and have conviction. Next to lead generating, a good work ethic, following up with leads, probably how to do a good CMA is right up there as the skills you need to be one of the upper echelon brokers. So those are all the benefits of why it's important to know how to do a great listing CMA.
I say, to support what Rengo said, and all of you know this, you've been out with me, you haven't yet, those things, but we've worked together for a long time. When you're sitting there with a client and you know this is solid, your confidence level, that may not be what they want to hear. And sometimes you'll address that, right? We do. It's kind of like the lady I had down in Bonnie Lake with the big property. She wanted X, the market said Y. the comp supported it. After the conversation, where we could work out what her real needs were, that solid comps is what convinced her, okay, you're right, this is a more reasonable price. But you've got to manage them. It also helps you guys, because there are some deals you're going to need to walk away from. They're going to suck your money and time down the tube, and you don't want them. So there are clients you need to know where the line is to draw. So the more confident you are, the more they feel it. More when you're going through and presenting, the more it's just more powerful structure. And so the things Rango has listed up there are the benefits to you to mastering this. I mean, they really are. And so part of how, like, Marina's been on with me, I just have this boom. You said confidence. Well, it's because I've done this work. I'm walking in, guns loaded, and I know I've got the right ammunition. Everything's correct. Then you just deal with the people. But this CMA ability to know, powerful. It's one of the more powerful, like you said, it is one of the more powerful things you'll need to learn and master it. And I keep working on it. I've been doing it for 35 years, and I'm still learning stuff on these things. How to niche this and how to pull that in a little stronger, those types of things. So that's just to support what you said.
Thanks for sure.
Powerful. One of the tools that I found that helped me really dial it in was I would go and pull previous listings that just closed. And I'll look at the closing price. I force myself not to look at it. I go comp them, and I'll do 10 in a row. Take your time, take a day. Learn, and then you comp them, you get real solid on what you think, and dial it in hard, and then look at the sell price and see how far you're off. And then ask yourself, why am I off? Where did I miss? What could I do better? If you do 10 of those or 20 of those over the next couple of months, you kick out 50 of those, I promise you, by the time you're on the 25 or so, you'll be dialing it in really, really solid. So it's a way to use what has closed to kind of refine your skills so next time, so after first 25 you may be out, by the next 25 you can do 50 of them like that over the next 2 or 3 months, you'll be right on. And then your confidence in what you're doing, you'll know your pricing is right on. But that's a good way to practice.
All right, let's move on. All right, so I'm gonna go through the process of how I do my comps. And remember, I've been doing this for 12 years. I probably comp thousands of properties. So let's go to Zillow.
Rango, if you mind me asking,
yeah.
Why do you choose? What are your reasons that you like to use Zillow? Is it because it's easy? Is it what you've always used? Is it the best?
Great question. So Zillow gives you a quick overview of the property you're about to comp. Just a quick overview, and it gives you a range of how much it's worth.
Okay.
Remember, these properties aren't listed on the MLS, so you have to start from scratch. So I go to Zillow first.
Okay.
So let's go to Zillow, and let's pretend someone is like, hey, I want to sell my house. Before you come over on a Saturday, can you tell me how much it's worth? You're like, well, let me do a comp first, and I'll bring that information with me on Saturday, right? So let's go to Zillow. You put in the address. Remember, you don't know nothing about this property. So put in the address, 12630 Southeast 212 Place, Kent, Washington, 98031. All right, so we got the property. And so pull the property on Zillow and write down specs of it and get tax ID. So go ahead and write down the specs like if we're doing a real property. So let's go back to Zillow and see what the specs are again. Because remember, we're not going to ask the client, hey, tell me your square footage, your building, stuff like that. Say, hey, just give me the address, I'll figure out everything myself. So let's write down the specs. So we know it's 3 beds, 2 baths, 1890 square feet. And I always put what Zillow thinks is worth. So I would say Zillow thinks it's worth $415. But we don't believe Zillow, do we? Zillow's always off by it can be right on or it can be off by 30%. Like Zillow has this huge swing. So we don't even believe Zillow. But Zillow thinks it's worth $415, so we have a range. We know it's probably worth between $390 and $450. That's what we know right now. And let's see we can find more facts this way. Year built 1981. So go ahead and put 1981 and put the lot size, 7,314 square feet. That's the only specs you really need to write down. And I'll tell you later why. Okay, let's go Google Street View so it can walk us down the street here if my Google Street View works. Go ahead and walk down the street and you guys tell me what do you think of the street? You know, the houses around it, the condition of it. The reason why I look at that is because we don't want to see like homes on really busy streets are worth less, right? It's not that kid friendly. Homes that have a lot of green belt around it is worth a little bit more sometimes because you have more space. Corner lots are worth a little bit more. So all those things come into your considerations, come into your comps. Okay, so now you're here. We have enough information to start the comp, okay? So step 2, get into the MLS to see if it's listed before and see what county records say about that. So that's what we do next. So now we're gonna go into the MLS to see if it was listed before, because now we're just trying to gather information about the property. And then you're gonna ask me, how do I get the tax ID? That's why I go to Zillow, because Zillow will give you the tax ID. So let's go back to Zillow. I'll show you where to find the tax ID. Right there, that parcel number right there, that's the tax ID. And look, Zillow say, hey, March 2015, 4 years ago, it was sold for $255. Let's put that down. That's a good information. You know, that sold for $255, sometimes people do this too, right? We know that the market in Kent, the last 4 years, have gone up about, on average, about 8 to 10%. So based off that price, you can say, okay, if it went up 10% in between 2015 and 2016, that's about 25 grand a year. And then you do 4 times 4, if you're going off of just basic home appreciation, based off that, it could be worth about 350, right? But that's still guessing a little bit, but some people kind of do that. All right, so we got the parcel number. So let's go into the MLS now. And let's see if it was listed before, so I'll show you how to do that. So, okay, so we're in the MLS. The quickest way to see if it's listed before, just put in the simple address here in the search bar. 12630 Southeast 212. That's it. You don't put in the whole address because the system, it doesn't like too many numbers and stuff. It won't come up. So just put in the basic simple address right there. It didn't find anything, so maybe I'll take out Southeast and I'll try it again. So, okay, we still can't find it, so maybe it's not listed on the MLS. But so let's go into Realist and let's pull it up by tax ID. So you guys see where it says at the bottom left it says tax ID? Just paste it in. Okay, there's our home. But it wasn't sold. It wasn't listed on the MLS. Because if it was listed on the MLS, it would say it here and it would have an MLS number. So now we know it was never listed on the MLS, and it's true. Well, you see down there, estimate value? There's a realist value to it, and it thinks it's worth 387. So I write that in. I write down it's worth 387, the realist value of it. All right, so let's move on. So now we got some good information, and let's see what does our slide say we should do next. All right, now number 3, get into the MLS and draw a mile radius around the home. Pull up all the solds within 3 months with the same specs until you find at least 3 good sold comps. All right, so we're going to go to the MLS now. And we're going to pull up. We're going to go search. So, you know, we just did sold here 90 days. And then we did 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Let's maybe go 1,700 square feet structures. Sometimes I don't like places that are new or too new. So this is built in 1981. So I might go like 1995 minus. We only want to see older properties because the property is a little older. So now we go click on map search.
Oh, map search, there it is.
Or you could go like this. Look, let's go 12630 Southeast 212. And let's go 1 mile. Yes, I meant that. And let's go 1 mile. And it will kind of do it automatically for you. So there's 20 matches. So let's look at the 20. Remember, we're only trying to look for 3. Before I do the comp, I ask the client, is there any upgrades in the house or does it need any big repairs or anything? So they're gonna tell me, yeah, it has hardwood floors and the bathrooms are updated and it needs a new roof. That's what they're gonna tell me. So I'll just write it down. So when I'm doing these comps here, I'm looking for properties that are similar to that. So let's see if this one is. And ours could, yeah, ours looking about like that. So we're at 375 on that. Ooh, this one's priced high, 430. I wonder why. To do a good comp, it takes about a good half an hour to an hour at least. I'm just letting you know.
One of the things to keep in mind too is you're going to have your printed CMA when you go out, right? We got the print in our hand. You're going to show it to them. I always keep my CMA live on my computer, so that when you get there, sometimes in the discussion, oh, my house is the same as the one down the street. You know, they got 700,000. Mine's worth at least that. Okay, so you've toured the house. You sat down. You're going there. You know that this house you're in is nowhere near as fine as that one. So what I do is I'll pull up, you've got your CMA, but you can't really go through the pictures. Live, I'll pull the CMA up and say, you know what, let's look at the pictures. And then I take them through the pictures of the houses I want to compare. And I just say, okay, let's start. How does this compare to your kitchen? And you have them look at see, they got granite, you start pointing things out, what is yours? And you go back and forth, and you don't do it from a condemning or pushing, you literally just do it from an expression, help them understand it, and they'll comp themselves right down to what you want. Because they'll look at it and say, oh, well, that kitchen, man, that's really nice. Mine's not like that. Oh, okay, let's move to the next. And you can utilize your CMA when you need to, if it's live, to compare pictures. Very effective for getting people to come down or back to reality.
All right, so we got 5 checks, so I'm gonna just pull up the 5 check. So what I'm gonna do is, remember I want 3, but you know, if you have 2, that's fine. If you have 4, that's fine. But I'm gonna get rid of the other 25, and I only want to deep search the 5 check now. So I would go, see how I push refine right here? I would go narrow. Because if I push discard, the 5 check would leave my comp. So I want to put narrow, and narrow means that it's getting rid of the other ones, but it just leaves the 5. So I'm just trying to find the 3 closest ones to it. So let's pull up these on the map and let's see which one's the closest in distance. So these are the 5 that I feel are pretty close to it. All right, I think we got our 3 comps. So let's get rid of the rest. Again, refine and then narrow. That means get rid of the ones I did check. I narrowed it down to 3. And now I got to, based off of these 3, I got to figure out how much it's worth, because there's a crazy discrepancy. One is sold for $375, one sold for $430, and one sold for $450. They all sold within a month or 2 ago. But that's a $80,000 difference, right? So we're not convinced, right? How are you gonna go in and say, hey, your house is worth between $370 and $450? It's just, you're not convinced. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go back to actions and I'm gonna open up the search, because I'm not convinced, right? You gotta be convinced of how much you think is worth, right? Zillow thinks it's worth $415, and then the realist thought it was worth, what did realist think it was worth, like $370 or something? $387, okay. And then these 3 comps thinks it's worth $375 to $450. We're not convinced. So then now you go back in and you open up the search a little bit. Now you go 6 months within 2 miles until you find those 3 solid comps that support how much you think it's worth. In my mind right now, I'm thinking it might be worth $430, $420 in my mind, but I'm just guessing still. So let's go back into, I'll go back into criteria. So I'm gonna go back into actions, and then I'm gonna push criteria. I'm not gonna do a new search, I'm just gonna say criteria. So sold here, I'm gonna go 180 days. And then with here, I'm going 1 mile and 2 miles. And then I might go price point now, because I know how much I think is worth. Probably worth between $390 and $420. So I'm gonna go, I don't wanna see anything under $350, and I wanna see everything, I don't wanna see anything over like $450. So we got 41. That's a lot. So let's go structure. We don't want to see anything over 2,200 square feet. So we want to see only 1,700 to 2,200 square feet. Let's go lot size. Square footage. Our lot size is 7,314. So let's go. We don't want to see anything under 5,000 square feet, and we don't want to see anything over 9,000. Okay, so we're at 22 right there. You can look at 22 pretty briefly. 50 is too much to scroll through. So you gotta try to get this number down to like under 20 or 10, even better, so you can look for your 3 comps, right? So we're at 22, we can make it work. So this comp came back up. Man, why was this house so cheap? But it doesn't look bad. Yeah, that's why it's so cheap. It had the wood paneling, had grandma's drapes. So I might not even use this comp anymore because my mom's house had nice hardwood floors and the bathrooms are updated. She has stainless steel appliances. What you're trying to look for is patterns. Patterns, that's what you're trying to look for. So all the patterns are saying is worth between 410 and 450. So you're trying to look for patterns around that, right? So this is too low. So we're gonna take that off. Oh look, here's a split level. It looks exactly like my mom's house. Yeah, hardwood floors.
It's nice, huh?
Yeah, oh, yep, a little bit updated. Hers is. Yep, this is a perfect comp. So this is like, I'm really excited about this comp, but you guys see that we wouldn't have found this comp if we didn't open up the search a little bit. Remember, if we would have kept it under half a mile, under 3 months, we wouldn't have found this, but so we opened it up and we found like a really strong comp here. So let's pull this one up. I'm really excited about that comp. Oh, another split level. That's a good one. I don't have to like look at pictures. I know it's gonna be very similar to my mom's house. Yep, so this is a perfect comp. So even though we're trying to find 3, I'm trying to narrow it down to 5 or 6 and then I'll go in and dissect them and pull out the 3s. So right now I'm just clicking through them to see which one's the best, like 5 or 6, and then we're gonna get down to 3. This one's a little nicer than my mom's, so I'm not gonna use it. All right, for the sake of time, I think we're good. So we're gonna narrow down the rest. So we got 6 right now. And let's, out of these 6, let's pull out 3 that we think are the best. So these high price ones, we gotta study them because these ones, the lower price ones, this one sold at 400, this one sold at 390, this one sold at 385, 381. So right now the pattern is saying it could be worth about 380, but these 2 down here that sold for 415 and 425 just throws me really off. So I gotta figure out why this is, what's so different about it. I mean, this one probably should have sold at 380. Not that nice. Okay, so now remember we gotta try to get this down to 3, right? So I'm gonna take off this first one because it sold 5 months ago. So I'm gonna take off this first one. This one, okay, I'm gonna keep that one. We're gonna keep this one. We only can keep one of these. Let's keep the newer one that sold right here, status date. And let's get rid of the older one because newer homes that just sold are stronger comps than like something that sold 6 months ago. Okay, so we got our 3, so we're gonna narrow it again. And these are our anchor comp right here: 385, 399, 415. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save these to a cart. Push cart, save. I'm gonna add new to cart, and I'm gonna put client's name. So let's just say her name is Christina Aguilera. So we saved it to Christina Aguilera. So now we gotta, let's go back to the instructions of what do we do next. So now we got our 3 anchor comps, and now keep that mile radius and pull up active and pending comps that support your sold comp. That's the next step. Now you're gonna pull up active and pendings to support that, right? So let's do that next. So I'm gonna go back to 90 days here, and then I'm gonna go back to 1 mile. And I'm gonna go back, I'm only gonna go pending, and active. So we got 3. So let's check out the 3. So remember, we're trying to support our sold comp because we're still not convinced if it's worth 385 or 415, right? These pendings and actives will support us. So look at this one, it's pending at 415, 5 days on the market. I mean, it's pretty no, it's not that much nicer than our home. Huh, so maybe our home could be worth 415, right? You're getting more confident, aren't you now? Okay, so we're at 425. I'm not convinced. So now I'm gonna open up the search a little bit more of the active and pendings, right? I'm gonna go 2 miles and I'm gonna go, so look, we're at 4 now. I don't know if that's enough, but let's just try it. Let's keep it at 4 for the sake of time. Okay, so we're at 415, 420, 425, 425. Man, okay. So these are the homes I would keep for the client in the cart here. And we're gonna add it to Christina's cart. So really, man, I think based off of what we see here, we see the solds. Sold for 415, sold for 400, sold for 385. Pending at 425, pending at 425, pending at 420. I mean, how much you guys think is worth? How much should we list it at based off of this? What do you guys think?
I think it's 400.
What?
It depends on the condition of the house. This
Ronnie's,
is pure and simple. You don't know till you get there.
Ronnie's correct.
So in the MLS, in your CMAs, you notice you'll have a page of what you think the price range is. I personally leave it blank, and I tell them that because I need to see your house, and then I write in what we think the price is.
He's correct.
It's more, for me, it's more effective.
So you guys are all real close based off of the guesses, but remember, you haven't been there yet to the property. So you would go in there and say, if the property is in average condition, it's worth about $390 to $400. If it's in really good condition, like some of these, it could be worth $415. But you hold that reservation until you get there and you tour the house one time. And then you can say, based off of that, this is what I see.
And this is where you use the pictures. For example, if you go to the one like that one right there, or that one, the bottom one, go to the bottom, open it up, if you would, Mango. Open the picture up. So now guys, now let's look at the pictures. And then you start, how does your yard compare to their yard? How does and you just kind of keep going, ease through it, you're looking at it, look at the kitchen. How does yours, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where you get people, you get them to tell you. So you get them to tell you, how does your house, how does your kitchen compare? How does your yard, you get them to tell you.
And now you got the comp that you brought, you saved it to the cart. So if Christina Aguilera at the listing presentation is like, nah, ours is worth 425. Look at the comp. You're like, what? Okay, let's look at the pictures. And sometimes you might say, let's get in my car. We're gonna drive down there.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're gonna say, you see this neighborhood? Look how nice this neighborhood is. The school, the park's right there. That's why I sold for 425. Your neighborhood's not this nice. Some of these are pending. Look, this one's vacant. You can go into this one and walk them into the house.
I've done it in Huntington Beach a couple of times.
So now we're starting to get really good at comping, right? Because they're not convinced, get in my car, we're going to go into this house. We'll show you why this one sold for 425 and yours is probably worth 400. It helps so much.
Yeah.
When you can't see yours is better if it's obviously not.
Exactly, and let them decide,
Yeah.